Hey, we're live and back. Are you guys back? Are you here? Can you get here? I'm just waiting for you to show up. Yeah, there I am live. And the show doesn't seem to be up there yet. Anyway, oh, there's one. Hey, AI, how you doing, buddy? My pirate look. It's also my mask. I don't know. I see a lot of people driving their car around and with the mask on, and there's no one in the car. I don't understand that. But I bought these. They're back on. And Walmart was so strange because so they had these on sale for $3.25, right? And then they needed space, so they put them in, all the ones they had into a whatchamacallit, a shopping cart, and sold them for 25 cents for two. So I bought about $10 worth. So I have enough masks, and these are actually hair ties, bungees for women who have lots of hair. It's like instead of having a scarf and tying it up, you can just kind of throw it over there. It's kind of like where if I had hair, it would be doing its job. I mean, I have a little bit. See this little ponytail back here. Anyway, so where were we? Still one person, still AI. It's interesting when I don't say anything, AI goes away, and then when I start talking, AI shows up. So Walmart's is really good for things like this and that's what I do. I kind of roll around and look at something. Oh, look, this was $6 last week, and now it's $1. So I'll buy two, and only if I need it. And the other thing they really have is great mac and cheese and chicken. So I chew it, or I should say I gum it till a certain consistency. So I get the flavor, but I don't swallow it. And then I'll go home and make chicken salad out of this. And it's very yummy. Yum, yum, yum. A big piece. Mm. 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 And it's another great buy. This whole platter All of this filled with mac and cheese, and all of this filled with whatever kind of chicken nuggets I want. And they're really good. They aren't like the mystery meat that you get in other chicken nuggets. It's quite good. And the best is their barbecue or their General Chow's. Yum, yum, yum. Oh, now there's two. So now I'll start the story. Start the show. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are. Welcome to Dreamy Dreamland with Sensei Al Bob. And I am your griot, Sensei Al Bob. And what's a griot? A griot is a person who tells you a story. Now, Akasha K and there's another good one. I don't like it that it's Nestle's, but this Splash is, I give you 6 bottles for $1.25, right? And they recycle those bottles. I don't know what they do, but they say they recycle them, so I bring them back. And if I bring 12 back, if I bring 24 back, I will get a whole package of Splash. And there's no carbohydrates, no sugar, no nothing. A natural flavoring and spring water. So it does me pretty good. And it's definitely the cheapest. There's some flavored waters that are $6. It's like, really? For little bottles. It's like, really? So, what's going on? Dreamy Dreamland, dreams. I was looking at, it just amuses me about John, because every time I say something on the show, he says, oh, I had this, it does the same thing. It's like, should I actually talk about stuff that I'm doing, or will John, because I want John to get a life. He has been up there all by himself for almost 5 years now. I was the only person there for about 2.5 years, and I tried to assist John to get a life, because he is talented. I mean, you can see he sings, he dances, he wriggles like a reptile, he plays the drums. He's really, bar none, the technical side of filmmaking, at least from his little phone, pretty amazing, right? And part of that is that he has a super duper computer, and he kind of post edits everything. Me, I just kind of do a fly-in a live chat, and he does too every now and then. But he normally takes those down. You never see them. I mean, he doesn't really keep up his stuff. I try to leave everything up there. Some person or something like you, AI, but I actually trust AI over that some person. That because AI is a machine, and yes, machines can be programmed with the prejudice of their programmer, garbage in, garbage out. But it's pretty much, you can see the patterns. But people are machines too. See, that's what people don't realize, is they think that there's something special, that America is built on this modality of exceptionalism, and that we compete dog eat dog dog, kill each other, bite each other, steal each other's stuff, so we can be the exceptional one. No, sorry. There's nothing exceptional about a stinky bag of water. No. There's nothing exceptional about a mud puppet. No. That's all we are, right? And different things can grab a hold of our strings and pull our strings and push our buttons and make us do things. They can actually make us do things, only if we let them. Why is there a mezuzah on the door? So all you folks who think about spirituality and religious motifs and modalities and mythology, because that's pretty much what religion is, mythology. It's a story, just like me telling you a story. But I'm not hyping you as this is a religion. Oh, thank you for that thumbs up there. So it's our bodies are not who we are. How we look, if we work out. That's like when I weighed 480 pounds and I waddled. I looked like a really big penguin. Bink, 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 bink. And I didn't care. And I'd wear my pajamas and I'd wear them. It's like the clothes I'm wearing right now is like this coat. I mean, I've been wearing it without really washing it for 2 years. And it's holding up great, and it's a super light. I mean, the whole coat weighs about as much as a Dixie cup, right? And since I cook over fire, I've set myself on fire a couple of times, and this is made out of that really strange extraterrestrial material that babies' onesies are made in, and which gives me look at that. Story is, so I have been a shamanic, psychosocial, cultural, forensic, anthropologic alchemist for 60 years, right? The frame of the shaman, which is not a religion, it's a way of looking at things, worldview. The shamanistic worldview is connected with everything. Someone's interrupting. I don't want me to have this conversation with you. And we're only 12 minutes into it. So that's the shaman. Psycho. What is psycho? It's your brain. It's not even your brain. It's your process, and how you, through your very limited 5 senses, view what you think the world is. And that's your psychology, what you think things are. And people who, act in a certain, they're seeing certain things. When I was getting my MSW and I was working for this shrink, I did all the stuff. He easily took 20% off his taxes. So I worked in jails. I worked in hospitals. I worked in all these entities that weren't for profit, that were the low end of the deal. Homeless people, drug addicts, things of that nature. And I worked for through that a guy. We used to have AA. I used to do a group, and I was very good at group. I could get everyone talking and everyone communicating and everyone sharing and everyone forgetting about their own anger, right? They could vent it, but it wasn't, they were just telling about it, not screaming at people or blaming people. And I was very good at that. I still am. And that's what made me such a great negotiator in the corporate world, because the rich people were just as neurotic, psychotic, alcoholics, drug addicts like the poor people, but they were rich, so they could, not have to be responsible for their actions. But usually when you work for Alcoholics Anonymous, you had to be a drunk yourself. And I was telling you that story about the twice I've been drunk, right? And I was telling you about this friend of mine who dragged me out of my apartment when I had the flu and made me cook, because I had a real fancy schmancy restaurant nightclub called I called it Save the Robots, or the Robot Cafe, or the Dumpster Dive Robot Cafe. But when John Belushi and Dan Aykroyd kind of picked it up, it was down in the lower part of Tribeca below Chambers Street. And when we went in there, it had been abandoned forever, for a long, long time. And there were raccoons in there, and I couldn't believe, and that was, another nickname for the place, the Raccoon Lodge. And that's the one that John Belushi and Dan Aykroyd stuck with. And that's where they worked out their Blues Brothers shtick and it became a really great place for about 8 months when they were still on Saturday Night Live. They would go and do shows there too. And then they got into movies, and then they went to Hollywood. So, but that was really one of those great times of late '70s, early '80s of New York City. I mean, it was, New York City was broke, and you know. So all the parks, they neglected the parks. So I used to live in this one park downtown. When I left my abode, the Edison Power Station on Pearl Street, I kind of walked about 2 blocks, and there's the Battery, and there's a park there. And they have this big eagle, and they have these big things of granite with all the names of people died in the Spanish-American War. And they had these circular grassy things that were protected by wrought iron fences, right? And the biggest one had they had mercury vapor not street lights, but lane lights around this park. And in this big circle, they had a big one, and it had a light on it, and it was out. But because the city was bankrupt, nobody fixed it. And nobody fixed it for the year that I lived at the thing. So I made a little, in the middle of that big circle, which was maybe a quarter of an acre, right in the middle. So I was about 200 feet or so, the middle, to that fence. I made a little campsite about 10 feet, and I put a tent there, and I went into the base of that lamp and hooked up a cord and brought that into my little thing, and I put an air conditioner in there and a TV and some Christmas lights and a hot plate to make something to eat. And that would be my little, when I went to the country, I said that was my country estate. And I used to go there. And then when I left my, power plant, my Edison power plant on Pearl Street, I instead of trying to find someplace else or going someplace else, I just went there. Now I had my studio, my, whatchamacallit, on Duane Street. There was Tesla's laboratories called Mohawk Electric right on the corner of Duane and Hudson. And Duane Park is on that. And Hotel Barbada was there. Cronin Coon and Lester, the Gray Rabbit, was there. So I kept Grandpa, Hotel Barbada refrigerators going because they ran on ammonia, and nobody wanted to touch that stuff because it was deadly. And he didn't want to rip them apart and put new technology in because that probably cost him $500,000. So I just kept them going safely. And he gave me one of those, and his refrigerators were about 3,000 square foot refrigerators, right? And the walls were 8 foot thick of cork. I mean, real old cork from the 1890s, probably from the Caribbean. And they also had, I don't know why, but a stainless steel covering before the cork, maybe so it doesn't rot, who knows. And I grounded that off, and on the other side of the cork, I spread copper mesh over everything. I found a dumpster full of copper mesh, and this is when copper was worth a ridiculous amount, but it had turned green, so no one knew that it was freaking copper mesh. So I threw as much as I could fit in the back of my truck, and which was a little more than half of it, and dropped it off my place. And when I came back, it was gone because I am sure somebody saw me rapidly emptying the dumpster out into my truck and driving away and said, that must be worth something, and took the rest of it. So, and that goes to a story later on about urban anthropology. So I created a orgone box, 3,000 square foot orgone box where I would do experiments on sleep, ESP, poltergeists, other dimensions, because I created a vacuum chamber. And a vacuum chamber is, as its name says, it's a chamber of a vacuum, but you can create really exotic environments inside there. And so I would have my big gigantic Tesla coil, and I would be dumping tremendous high voltage in there, and then adding different elements. And I could, make environments, and some of those environments would manifest borderlines between dimensions, and that's known as the ether, right? And if you can get the right conditions, you can then pull. What occurs is what is known as a torsion field, and if you can spin it, you can. That's 0 point energy. You can take off unlimited amounts of current, or you can use it as a wormhole to go someplace. And that's kind of what Tesla did in the Philadelphia experiment. It's kind of what was continued on at the Montauk Project, at the Rainbow Project, at the Unicorn Project. They get the really strange names. So, and if you go to, take the effort to get Freedom of Information, you can get documents to show they were doing something, but half of it will be blacked out. But it'll show they were doing something. So that's always a plus. So what time is it? Oh, okay. We'll go on for a few more minutes because it's time for...
I keep telling people, we do our best. We have always been here. This is our land. Why should we fight to live in our land? Why should we have to do that over and over again? All that and more coming up.
Oh, that's exactly how I feel. I was telling you about how I had to deal with the medical bureaucracy.
Now, democracynow.org, the quarantine report. I'm Amy Goodman. A warning to our audience, our top stories contain descriptions and images of police violence.
Oh my God, like that ever happened.
A police officer shot and killed a 20-year-old black man, Dante Wright, during a traffic stop Sunday in a Minneapolis suburb of Brooklyn Center. Wright's mother said her son called her as he was being pulled over, allegedly because an air freshener was obscuring his rearview mirror, but the call was disconnected. Katie Wright recounted the harrowing moment she learned of her son's death.
A minute later, I called, and his girlfriend answered, the passenger in the car, and said that he'd been shot.
The Minnesota ACLU called for an investigation by an independent agency.
Remember when I said 2021 is going to make 2020 look like Mary Poppins? Well, here we go.
Former white police officer Derek Chauvin is entering its third week. On Friday, the chief medical examiner who ruled George Floyd's May 25th, 2020 death a homicide.
But this guy is going to be let go. Trust me on this. The jury's going to say, he was scared,
And neck compression. And in terms of manner of death, you found then, and do you stand by today, that the manner of death of Mr. Floyd was
murder?
Call it homicide.
Murder.
I would still classify it as a homicide today.
Murder.
A lieutenant in the Army Medical Corps is suing 2 Virginia police officers who pepper sprayed him, pushed him to the ground.